Tammi, I am so excited to have you here.
Hey.
For those of you who haven't met you, my God, wait for it, my lovelies. Could you please share a little bit about your journey and the women that you work with?
I would absolutely love to. I worked in corporate leadership. I was 20 years or so at the director level. And, from the outside, everyone thought I had it all together. And inside, though, I was just super exhausted. And I didn't know why. My mind wouldn't stop. Always staying like 2 steps ahead of everything. Control just really felt safe to me.
If you resonate with this, then definitely
Mhm.
give Tammi a like because we don't want to feel quite so alone. But I think it's really genuinely something that many women actually experience, and we'll really get
Yes.
into the nitty gritty of what that is all about. Definitely.
hmm
When did you first realize that you really didn't want to kick goals there? And when did you realize that this pattern that you had, this heaviness that you were feeling of holding it all together, just isn't actually what you want?
I just physically couldn't turn it off, even when
Mm.
nothing was wrong. If this was just like ambition or drive or success, you'd think I'd be able to like rest when I wanted to, but I
Mhm.
just couldn't. And my mind was always scanning for stuff. What could be handled? Who needed me? What am I forgetting?
Handled. Right. What can I handle? Like, you're not even
Yeah,
like, I'm done. You're like, what else? What's next?
right.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
Your nervous system was on like high alert, is what I'm hearing.
Hypervigilance. Totally.
Yes. Exhausting, you poor chicken. Oh my
Yeah.
God. So do you reckon you learned to behave like this? Where did that what next can I handle come from, do you reckon?
I always like to explain it to clients as like it's like opening up a closet that was packed with things that you've been wearing for years. And these clothes represent your roles or your identity, ways of being that may not have made sense at one point because they helped you feel safe, loved, or valuable, whatever. And then one day you realize, holy crap, some of this doesn't even fit me anymore. We keep wearing these old identities because they just feel familiar. And that was a huge shift for me. It's like I didn't need that stuff anymore.
I love that. It's like that moment where the unconscious mind is starting to go, hey, Tammi, like, have
Uh-huh.
you noticed? Let me just add another jacket. Uncomfortable yet? Have another one? No, still not getting it? Okay, here comes like the bomber jacket and the scarf and the hat, and it's sunny outside. Oh, you're sweating a little bit. Good. Pay attention. Pay
Yes.
attention.
Yep.
That 80% of who you are and what you bring into the workplace is the bit that's screaming for your attention. And ladies, we all
Yeah.
love to head to the sales and buy a new wardrobe, but maybe we need to clear some space in the closet to hold it, I think is what Tammy's
Yes.
saying.
Right.
Hmm.
And that's
I
what we
love
need to
that.
do. Yep.
Now, you describe many of the women that you work with are like this. They're also looking for what else can they handle. Everyone relies on them. There's a lot of pressure on them. They're the ones that keep everybody moving. Paint up as a picture. What does her inner world
hmm
actually look like? Let's dive into that a little bit.
She's who everyone praises. She remembers every birthday. She checks in on everybody. She's managing all the stuff, all the emotional stuff too. People would go, "Oh my gosh, I don't know how you do it. You always have it together. You're so strong." And that's what these women are hearing too. But again, like I mentioned earlier, like secretly, they're just exhausted. And
Hmm.
because even when they have a chance to sit down, their brain is just going. It doesn't stop.
Mhm.
So, and we've all been there. We replay the conversations. We overthink an email or a text message. The version of them, this version is what they get rewarded, right? At work, if she does all this stuff, she's seen as dependable or leadership material. And in relationships, everybody leans on her or comes to her.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so she's
Oh,
good
yeah, I
at it
hear
that
you.
nobody, even her, even just sees that it's affecting her. And that's the hard
Yeah.
part, is it's happening
Would you
underneath.
say there's something running underneath the whole good girl thing? For me,
Oh
that was
gosh.
there. Oh, well done. Oh,
That's mine
Selena, you take
too. Yes.
everything in your stride. You take everything in your stride. You're amazing. Nothing. We never worried about
Yes.
you because, you
Yep.
always just bounce right back up. Ah! Somebody worry about me. Like, yeah. It's a mask, right?
What
It's a
did you have to
mask.
do to get love? And mine was being the good girl too.
And when you're a little kid, maybe that was a great way to get a treat out of the fridge or the lolly cabinet.
Totally.
But when you're in your 40s, you can go and get lollies whenever you want. So you really don't need to be doing that anymore. You know, in your experience, when we look at a high-performing woman, and I don't like that phrase, it made my body go, ugh. High-performing woman, go. What's a high-performing woman?
Well, I just think I just explained her. I mean, she doesn't stop. She keeps going. She's looking at, well, I've done everything I think I'm supposed to do. What else should I be handling? It's like they keep looking for stuff that they need to manage 2 weeks from now or the next day, or they're thinking about something that potentially could go wrong. It's just non-stop, and they do it in all areas of their life.
I'm just going to push you here. What is a healthy high-performing woman look like?
A woman who has boundaries, who knows how to say no when they know they should say no instead of saying yes, can find peace in her day and is okay with silence, resting without getting approval from somebody or feeling guilty.
Now, isn't that interesting? Listen to what you just said. A healthy version of a high-performing woman is there is no need for external validation. There is no need to manage everybody else. It's actually more about how you're taking care of you whilst you are high-performing in whatever role you're doing.
At the deepest level, it's about safety. It's not about, weak boundaries or bad management. It's because it's all about your nervous system. I like to describe it like a smoke alarm. So if you have a smoke alarm, it's designed to protect us, but sometimes it can go off for, burnt toast or the steam, like the hot steam from the shower. And there's no actual fire or danger, but the system just reacts like there is. And that's what happens emotionally too. That brain starts reacting to not just the real danger, but all that uncertainty in your life.
Talked about how important that feels. Yes, again, safety, right? If I know what's coming up, if I know what else needs attending to and I can get to it first, that prevents the fires. Would be another lens we could put on those patterns to help somebody who was in this kind of moment.
I think a lot of these patterns, they look like strengths, control, or perfectionism, or even people pleasing. In the short term, they could create success. And that's why this can be kind of confusing because, those behaviors can help you get promoted. And those are also the same ones that can totally burn you out and make you resentful.
Well, it kind of gets in the way of all the pleasure stuff, right? It gets in the way of rest. We're here to live a full, pleasureful life where we feel joy and we follow our talents and we have fun. It's a good question to ask yourself, like, am I having fun? Or am I feeling successful?
And I don't think we do.
And are those two mutually exclusive,
Yeah, we don't ask that. And I don't think some people even know what the answer is. Because I don't think they know what fun is. They've
forgotten what lights them up, right? Do you have any thoughts? What would you say to a client who's like, I don't know, I can't remember what I like?
Well, it's interesting.
I've had clients say that to me, and I'm like, okay, cool, great.
Well, we can do exercises to figure out what lights you up because people do forget. Even if they have free time, they're like, I don't even know what to do with it. So then we can go through exercises and talk about that and remember things that you used to think were amazing in your life that you just figured you didn't have time for. And that's where we can bring you back to who you really are. And
it's a piece of them returning, right? They've given it away. It's disappeared. You've got to pull it back.
Right.
I went through this phase myself. Every term, I signed myself up for extracurricular activities as well. So I did a term of fire twirling and circus. I did a term of choir. I just went, I don't know, let's just try some stuff. Beautiful. But I have to commit for the entire school term. Can't back out. I found so many cool things. And I also learned what I didn't want, which was really important. I'm not the kind of girl who's really comfortable flying from the ceiling on a silk, but I do love twirling flames.
That would be, talk about powerful, that would be awesome.
Tell you what, thoroughly recommend a bit of flames.
You're tapping into something different in your body, which is awesome. You're not just spinning on this cycle all the time. You've given your body and your mind a break to do something different.
Yes. And it's tuning into something else, another energy. But you have to choose, right? Don't you? You have to say, nope, on a Tuesday, I have committed at 7 o'clock to being in this shed learning about fire twirling.
That is like I think that word is so, it's so powerful what you just said there, is choose. I think we all forget that we have a choice in life all the time. Everything is a choice, but sometimes we think we don't have a choice, but actually not making a choice is a choice.
A lot of women will hear, just relax, have a bubble bath. And like, no, because what happens in the bubble bath is you're just making the list. Have a bubble bath, relax. If you're twirling a stick with fire on the end, you are not thinking about anything else apart from what the heck is that fire doing. Like, like it's hard to let go and relax. And some women would even say, like you said, well, that's a bit like lowering my standards. Why would I be less than? That makes me less than, particularly if that's baked into their identity, right? Yeah. So how do you help them do that? Because there's all that story going on. What does that actually mean, letting go?
They think about it, it's lowering their standards, and that's not at all what I would mean in that case. I'm not asking women to like take their hands off the wheel. I'm asking them just, loosen your white knuckle grip a little bit because, because when fear is driving, then, everything just, I feel like it feels tight in your whole body, right? Because you're just overthinking and you're bracing and you're struggling to trust other people in your life or whatever it might be. But when you're calm, there's just such a different energy. It doesn't mean being passive. Maybe it's more like you're just clearer in your life. You can still care deeply and you can still lead and still have standards. But now you're just responding more intentionally instead of just reacting from that fear.
What actually happens when your nervous system is regulated, you're calm and grounded, and you're operating from then? Do your standards lower? What happens to the people around you?
For us, it would mean that the pressure that they're giving us stops becoming our problem to solve. And I think that part really matters because a lot of women can carry a lot of guilt. You just stop confusing, I guess, caring with carrying. Carrying all this stuff,
right?
Yeah,
carrying. I love that. Because everybody's on their own journey. And if you try and control everybody's journey, nobody gets to grow. So I know my house, the minute I started chilling out, my family, I'm much nicer to be around. I've got more energy. I'm not I'm present with my family now. So actually, my standards have gone up because I have allowed myself to come first, I would say. Is that what you see with your clients?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think they got to get through the guilt, find the calmness, and then, they call it peace. They're like, I feel peaceful. I'm like, yes, that's exactly what we're getting to.
It is. It's like letting go of the fear and trusting that the world will not fall apart if you don't plan what we're having for dinner tomorrow and. And in fact, if you walk into the kitchen and the men of the household are making dinner and making a big mess, you have to be okay with that because they're also learning how to do that. Like there's a shift there, and that letting go of control means they're learning now and they're growing, and you're learning and you're growing because you're fire twirling now on a Tuesday night. Yeah. So if a listener is like listening and going, oh, Tammi, I think that might be me. Like, what is a really beautiful first step? Something that they can do this week and that you could offer?
This definitely isn't a giant transformation, but I think just starting to notice when you're taking on responsibility that may not be yours. That's just huge awareness. And so you could ask yourself a couple questions like, what am I managing right now? And did somebody ask me to do this?
That's a good question.
And what would happen if I didn't manage it? Awareness of this is first, and then you have a choice of what you're going to do with it. Are you going to take it on, or are you just going to let it go?
Or ask somebody else to do it if it needs to be done.
Right. That's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's probably the next step. That's a bit scary, but I get it. That's beautiful. So who does the woman get to be on the other side once we practice this and we work with you? What shifts, what changes about how she leads, how she lives, who she is?
For me, just when you're calm, everything just becomes so much more serene and peaceful. Something amazing, let me tell you, when you can just start to feel that freedom, when your body's just soften and your mind gets quieter and you're more present in your life instead of always thinking ahead. And that's huge, because think of the stuff you miss when you are not present and your mind is somewhere else. It's a lot more than we actually realize.
It's big. And I imagine it impacts so many areas of someone's life. Yeah, really positively.
Yeah.
So if you are listening to this thinking, my goodness, Tammi, help. This woman is wise and I need her assistance. Where can we find you online? How do we contact with you? How do we get in contact with you?
Definitely. LinkedIn. You can look under Tammi Grossman, or you can look up Loving You with a U coaching as well. And
beautiful.
I will offer a complimentary clarity call. So for women who just have recognized themselves today in this conversation and you want to explore those patterns underneath. It's just a space for us to get honest about what's happening, right? And what could be possible in your life.
And that's amazing. So what you're offering here is an opportunity to co-notice in a really gentle, caring way, right? Not like, oh, well, you're doing it, had to be rubbish. No judgment, right? Just
no, I've been there. I know. I definitely would never do that, because I understand. I've been there from that level as well. So
yeah,
I get it.
I love that. Let's help them find a success that resonates, a clarity and calmness that helps them be present with their family and with themselves in a way that they've never perhaps experienced or haven't experienced for a long time.
I think it's like remembering who you are underneath all of that coping that you've been dealing with. I mean, think of who that woman is. You've lost touch with her. Like, let's get her back.
It's a house, so many beans. It's okay to be you, to step into this position as you. And everyone else will be like, whoa, where'd you come from? This is fun. I like you. I like this version. This is good. And you can still hold people to account for their part. It's a really powerful place to be as a woman. It's very matriarch energy, I feel. It's like coming into your matriarch.
You don't become like somebody totally different and totally new. It's just you're finally becoming who you are. You're still you. You're just lighter and you're clearer and you're more present, like I said. I really want to help you find that in your life, because you deserve it. Yeah. You deserve to find the peace and the calmness that we want in life, so that you can be you fully every day.
And everyone around you is going to love that so much as well.
Oh my gosh.
Bring you so
like
much
you
closer.
said, you'll be a better person because of it, right?
Yeah, you will. You'll be supporting people differently, but in a much more powerful way. That's what it is. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. If you're not fired up to go hang out with Tammi, I don't know what else we could do. Yeah. Make sure you head over to Tammi on LinkedIn, and the link for her clarity call is just below this video here. So go click on that and connect with her. Thank you so much, Tammi, for your time today.